Some of you may know that I was in a little bit of a funk, so what I decided to do was go back and watch some videos from before I started pouring, some of the videos that made me want to go out and buy the supplies and try pouring for the first time. And I thought maybe that would get me really excited about it again. So, and it did, but I'm going to go a little bit different of a direction today. More like sort of what the videos were like when I first started watching, at least the ones I was watching. So I bought some pouring medium, and I've mixed two colors, and this is just paint and pouring medium. There's no water, there's no floetrol, there's no silicone or anything, and there's very little paint. I'm going to show you how I mix this real quick. Let me move this here, my little canvas here. So not that there's any rocket science to this, but just so you can see, for clarity's sake, I'm putting some pouring medium into my cup. I don't want too much of this third color, I don't think, so I'm not going to mix too much. And then I'm going to take bronze, and I'm just going to put like a pea-sized amount in there. We'll see how it looks. I may want to add just a little bit more, but this bronze is opaque. The other colors are semi-transparent, so I don't want the bronze to totally overpower the other two. Now this is great if you have fluid, not the pre-mixed acrylic pouring paint, but like the fluid acrylics or some ink or something. You wouldn't have to mix as much since it's just a tiny bit of paint in the pouring medium. Okay, that's probably perfect. So there's my bronze. Make sure it's mixed in really well. Okay, and then I have pearl sea green, and I have some phthalo blue. So those are my three colors, and I still have some, obviously have this big thing of pouring medium, so I may use some just clear pouring medium depending on how it goes. So I'm going to pour the colors on separately, and then kind of move it around either with a stick or probably with my breath. When I do something similar to this with resin, because this is sort of resin-ishy, I usually use a heat gun, but I can't use the heat gun on the pouring medium because it will just, kind of burn it and dry it, and it wouldn't stay fluid like resin does. So I was playing around a little bit. Make sure this is in camera. I was playing around a little bit with it when I first picked up the pouring medium again, and I was using a straw, but it makes because the air is so condensed to a small space, it doesn't quite have the movement that I like that you'd get like with a heat gun or something. So I'll probably be mostly just blowing on it directly. Okay, so this is just a canvas panel that I painted with a brush just to put a little background on there, partially because they are semi-transparent. And then if I want to go with some just clear pouring medium without any paint in it, and I move it around and I like it, it's not going to be bare canvas showing through. I could have just painted it white, that would have been fine, but I didn't. So and this will, because these are transparent and pouring medium is milky white, I will definitely show the dried result at the end so that everybody can see what it looks like, because it does, as the pouring medium clarifies, it really does look a lot different. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of pour this on here. I don't have a specific design in mind. I'm just going to kind of play around. That's sort of what I'm doing, is just kind of playing around a bit, and, sort of trying to be a little bit less planned, I guess, and a little more spontaneous when I'm painting. This bronze is really pretty. I'm going to leave the bronze just up here. kind of stick with this sea green up in this area. I also have some pigment powders sitting here. Not planning on pulling them out, but you know, you never know. Need a little bit more. I see I have a glob of blue that I didn't quite get mixed in. That's okay. I can mix that up and then maybe we'll have a darker area if I need more of this. Okay, so I've got all the pouring medium where I want it. I just pulled out some pigment powder. And this is just, what is this? Pearl-Ex in turquoise. And this is just from Hobby Lobby. I picked it up forever ago when I first started my pouring adventure. And then it kind of got put aside when I changed kind of how I was doing it. And I thought, you know, I need time to pour that back out. So what I'm going to do, now be very careful with pigment powder because, I mean, it's tiny little particles. You certainly don't want to like breathe in deeply when you have this close to you because you really, really don't want to breathe this stuff in. I'm just going to put a little bit at the end of a popsicle stick and kind of, I want it like right in here. I'm just going to kind of, and it's going to kind of go in clumps and that's okay. I'll probably put a clear coat over this so that anything that doesn't quite get mixed in. Now you can mix this with pouring medium and that would work just as well, but I want a, I want there to be a contrast of, that was a little bit too big of a glob, but that's okay. I want it to be a little bit of a contrast between how the pigment powder is sitting on here compared to how the these colors are moving, if that makes sense. I don't want it to be all fluidy. I want it to be kind of sporadic and almost bumpy so that there's a contrast between the pigment powder and the other colors. So I'm going to take a deep breath in, not anywhere near this, and then I'm going to blow this a little bit. Make sure this is on screen. Not a lot, because like I said, this is tiny little particles. You don't want it all over. Okay. Okay. And see it kind of, then we have little patches of it here and there compared to just the clumps. I'm going to put just a little bit more right here. I'm going to try and get a tiny clump so that I can leave it, because I also like the clumps. Oops, I think I got a little pouring medium on that. I better get another one. I'm going to get pouring medium in my pigment powder bottle. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here it is dry. And it's really cool. I don't know if the camera will pick this up. Oh, there it goes. But you can see like the swirls in the paint from different angles. You can see the texture under there. And it just looks really cool. There you can see the pigment powder. So I was going to do just a clear coat, but I've decided to do a clear coat with just a little bit of this is also pearl powder, and this is green purple. So some angles you look at it, it's green. Some angles you look at it and it's purple. So I'm going to put a little bit, I think maybe right in here. I'm not really sure. So I will show you how I mix the pearl powder up with the pouring medium when I want to pour it on, as opposed to just drizzle it on. If you want to follow these, I'll be posting pictures on Instagram and my Facebook page, because I know this isn't typical of what people usually tune into this channel for, so I don't know how interested anybody is in following this process. It's a bit more tedious. So if it's something you're interested in, definitely let me know, because I may share more if I have a lot of people interested. Or if you have questions, let me know those too. And if you say, hey, get back to pouring, let me know that too, because, you know, this is your channel as much as it is mine, because you're the ones who watch. So just let me know what you're interested in. So I have a little bit of pouring medium in here, not much. And I'm going to take just some of this green purple pigment powder, and I'm just going to put it in there and mix. I don't want bubbles, so I'm going to mix somewhat slowly, and then I'll see if I think I need more. That's probably just right. And I don't mind if there's some little clumps, because that'll just give it a little bit of texture and interest. I don't know if you can see the lid. It really looks purple on the lid, on the black. So if I use this on a black background, it would probably look more purple than green. I'm not sure exactly what it will do here. Whoa, sorry, I just shook my table. I'm not sure exactly what it will look like here, so this is kind of, you know, just part of the experimentation. And it'll probably look a little bit different once it's dried. So I think I'll put this on first and then fill in with clear. So I'm thinking I want some... I'm just sort of going to follow in here. Maybe put a little bit on the blue, because it'll probably show up a different color on the blue. So that'll be kind of neat. Give it some interest. My kids are being pretty loud, so sorry about that, if you can hear them. Okay, I think I will stick with that for now. Let's put some of this clear on here. Start sort of from the middle. Go out carefully over the pigment powder. Oh, some of that wasn't stuck is floating. I don't know if you can see it sort of floating, so that might change how that looks there. I'll have to wait and see. I really love the way the bronze looks. Now that it's dry, it looks very, looks really cool. Here, let me use one of these. Make sure there's no pigment powder on this before I use it to spread a clear layer. Now this will self-level, so you can, if you're just doing a clear coat, you can, if you've already worked with resin and done like a flood coat on top, you could do that and just kind of let it start pouring over. But since I have, or even tilt, but since I do have pigment powder and I want to somewhat control where that goes, I mean, not completely, but I don't want it to just go willy-nilly everywhere. I'm going to sort of go a little bit slower than that. My kids' breakfast is over, I can tell out there. They're just going bonkers. All right, this also tells me if I need more. It helps because I don't want to waste any by having too much go over the edge. All right, so when I moved from over here, over there to over here, I had some pigment powder on the stick. Can you see the little speckles? I did wipe it off, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I had to mute it a little bit when I was doing that because my kids were being crazy loud, so I had to do a quick, hey, and have them quiet a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep spreading this carefully. And I may just need a little bit more right in here. And I think that's part of the problem. Now, if you're doing one that you want to, like I'm mostly just playing around right here right now. So this is on just a canvas panel, but this is something that you don't want to do on a very large canvas because the canvas will sag. It will cause the pouring medium to pool in the middle and it might ruin. So if you're doing this on anything very big, you definitely want a more stable substrate than canvas. And I'm going to say probably even more so than a canvas panel. Even though it's a bit more firm than a canvas, it's not going to sag, but it could warp. I haven't had any problems so far, but I think partly because you're building layer upon layer, that first layer is, and then like subsequent layers really solidifies this. Like this isn't going to bend anymore with all these layers, but still, I think I would use probably more of a wooden substrate. Okay, so I don't know if you can see where the green pigment powder is. It's very, very subtle. So I'm just going to blow it again. My head's going to be right in the shot, and I do apologize for that. If I do too many of these, I'm going to have to find a different camera angle. All right, so I think I'm going to leave it at that. You can sort of see it's just right in here, and that's all I want. I just wanted a tiny bit. Sorry, guys. I forgot I had the overhead light on this whole time, so I hope it wasn't a glare. But there's where that green, if I can get it to focus, that green pigment powder is just right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and post this video, but I will have pictures up probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow morning. It'll be clear enough to take some pictures and see what that did. So again, check out those links below for where you can find those pictures, and definitely let me know what you guys want to see going forward on this channel. I'm just having fun with these. This is kind of where some of the things I fell in love with when I first started pouring. It's been really fun to kind of revisit that and spend a bit more time. When I first started pouring, it was right before the pouring medium shortage. the Liquitex pouring medium shortage, and pouring medium got so ridiculously expensive that it was really out of reach for me. And so now that pouring medium is not is back to its normal price, which is still not cheap, but feasible for me to play around with some of these layers. I'm really having some fun. So let me know what you guys want to see though. And until next time, guys, happy pouring.